Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be creating a nail design kind of inspired by patches. So I've recently been seeing a lot of people doing kind of like patch nail designs where, you know, that kind of vibe where you've got jeans, for example, and you rip a chunk out of it and then you've got this perfect little square sewn back on. So that's kind of what we're going for in today's video. So I picked up a few colors, which actually, funny enough, when I do sets, a lot of the time I do a lot of designs whenever I'm free or I'm inspired, and then I record them a different day, whichever one kind of I feel up to doing that day, and I kind of keep a little drawer full of the gel polishes that I've used for nails that need to be recorded for the YouTube channel. And I kind of looked in my drawer and I found that the three of those gel polishes were just standing next to each other in my drawer, and I was like, wait a minute, those kind of look cool together. So I was really trying to create a set using them today, and here we are today with this set. So we are using we've got like a dark purple, we've got this purpley shade which is a fairly muted dusty purple, and we've got this kind of burgundy dark pink, like a dark juicy pink, I feel like. So this nail now that I'm doing looks like a blue, but it's a bit more purpley in person, so I feel like the camera's kind of not really doing it justice. It's a bit more purpley than it is blue. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to do three nails that are nude, and I'm using my favorite nude gel polish from Cloud Beauty in the shade N17, and then I've got one of the dark purple shade, and then the other one is called, I think, Bittersweet, which is a gorgeous, like a juicy, I don't know, like a cherry maybe color. I don't know, I'm not very good at usually describing colors. So these two nails, I think, are going to be our patchwork nails. So what we're going to do, I've already placed here the three colors that I'm going to use, and then I'm also going to place a little bit of that Glitter Bells Unbelievable Gel in the shade Black, which is a nail art gel that we're going to use. So here, because it involves quite precise lines and I wanted to make it sure that it is exactly what I want it to look like, I'm going to kind of use the black gel polish as a way of kind of drawing out my design, if that makes sense. So we are going to go over it later with black to just christen up the lines, but you could use the nail art gel like I am. You could use, I've seen people use like a pen and pencil, something like that, to kind of start drawing out your designs. I know people often do that when drawing like really detailed kind of nail art, such as like, I don't know, Disney characters, like a really detailed nail art, but of course I'm not, but I really wanted to use that as kind of as a guidance, so I know where to colour in when I'm using my other colours. So as you can see, the first nail was like a crisscross thing going on, or did like a little X thing going on, and then the other nail is going to be a French tip. So don't worry about having these lines too perfect, it doesn't matter, we're going to colour basically over them, and we're going to add some black later. So the black later is the bit where you really want to focus on getting right. So here I'm adding some additional lines, and that's where I'm going to colour them in. So I'm going in with that purple, which is blue on camera, and I'm just going to start colouring in. So for our crisscross nail, we're going to colour that one in at the bottom. Here we are. And then for the French tip nail, we're going to colour in the top left hand side of that nail. And I'm using my nail art brush. You can use the brush from the bottle, but as you can see, I've placed a big old chunk on my plate and I was not going to waste that. So usually what happens is when I put too much, I'll use the from the plate, and sometimes I'll even use my brush and pick it up from the plate to kind of use it up, because I don't want to waste it. It's a good gel polish, I don't want to be wasting, although I do waste quite a lot, but where possible I try not to. Sometimes I'm a bit like rushing, sometimes I don't always think properly, and I end up wasting not a lot, but a little bit of gel polish that could have been preserved, but you know, that's fine, we can move with that. So as you can see there, we are going to do two layers. This is a very kind of repetitive, it's quite time consuming, but I feel like the final results kind of speak for themselves and they look quite cool, I think. So now it's time for that pinky bittersweet colour from Madame Glam. Oh yeah, I didn't mention, all of those colours are from Madame Glam, but I'm sure you guys have noticed that already. If you wanted to shop with Madame Glam, I do have a discount code, which is glamifybabeofficial, which will save you guys 30% off your order, and it only applies to pretty much, I think, all the items excluding the outlet section because they're already very heavily discounted. I think they're like minus 60%, and sometimes they do like a little event where they do minus 65, which is literally great. I love shopping on that section. You just get very affordable, amazing gel polishes. As you can see here, this Bittersweet gel polish is literally a one coater. It's so pigmented, it's literally amazing. So yeah, so with that French tip, as you saw, that's where I'm placing the Bittersweet. And then for the crisscross nail, I'm doing on the right hand side this time around, colouring it in. Then we're going to pop it into the lamp. The second layer of this, I do go ahead and do it off camera, so don't worry guys, I'm not going to bore you guys with seeing this again. And then, as you can probably imagine, the purple shade is going to be what's left. So on this nail, it's going to be on the left hand side. I believe this purple, was it Liberty? At the beginning of the video, I was too busy talking, I didn't really notice, but I believe it's one of their more newer shades that came out. If it's Liberty, it's one of their newer collections that came out recently that I love. When it first came as a collection, I found it quite difficult to kind of create a set just using those, but mix and match them with other colours that I had is literally working great. I've even worked on some Christmas sets already, ready for kind of November/December, and I was picking up some of those new collections, which I was so shocked because yeah, like when I first came, I was struggling super much trying to figure it out and put them together. So now that 2 layers have been applied and cured, it's time to do this very hard outline time. So this is where you want to be the most precise. The precise the better. Unless you're going for a super like messy on purpose vibe, then that's fine. But I really wanted to be precise. I really wanted to kind of make it look sleek and nice. So I outline all of my lines, and this is the bit that I probably hate the most. I just feel like I do the lines way too thick, and I don't know, I just feel like other people do it so much better. But this is the bit where you kind of want to create that patchy vibe where it's been stitched up back onto the nail. So what I'm doing is doing like 11s, and I'm doing, I think, X's and sometimes just one lines, all of that jazz, and I've done it on both nails. As you can see, that's already in the background, all nice and cured, and we've got one stamping nail today. It feels like I haven't done stamping in a while. Well, at least to me, because some of these videos have been filmed a while ago. So for you guys, I might have literally stamped my last video, but to me, I haven't actually stamped in probably a week or two, to be honest. So I've got a Mogi London plate, and it's one of their Care Bear Halloween kind of collections. I know that they have a Care Bear collection, but I don't know whether they all came out at the same time or whether they just added them as the seasons came about. But I've got a Halloween one, and I really like those stars and the moons, and I really wanted to kind of incorporate it in some sort of a set. I've been ironing that design down for quite some time, and I thought today was the day. So we do go ahead and have to double stamp this, as the image is too small to cover the full nail, which is the biggest downside in stamping for those stiletto nails. I love working on stiletto nails. I just love the space that I have to create designs. But unfortunately, when I want to play about with stamping, you guys are probably most likely going to see mainly more smaller, maybe like, yeah, smaller, very short nails. It's just easier. If you're into stamping, you probably know what I mean. It's the worst when you have to kind of double stamp and make it work somehow. Some designs can just be very difficult. So here I'm using my Miley Nail Prep Cleaner Liquid, and I'm just wiping away the nails with a lint-free wipe, just because those colours are really pigmented. I'm going ahead with a matte top coat, and I sometimes find that the colours kind of start to merge into one another and almost kind of melt on the nail. I'm not quite sure why, whether I've undercured, but I usually cure for quite a long time just to triple make sure. So I just feel like it's the pigment, and as you saw also when I was wiping down the nail, I was kind of showing you guys on the lint-free wipe where there's literally mainly that bittersweet colour, that residue left on the wipe. So now that that's white, we're going in with a matte top coat. I'm using my Venelisa matte top coat. I'm just gonna apply that on all of those nails. And then once they get cured, it's time for our crystals. So if you're recreating a set on a client, of course, if possible, try and apply your crystals before top coating. So that will just kind of help you guys get the crystals on there for longer, and you won't have customers, clients, you know, crying about their crystals falling off on day 2. It's just an additional measure to kind of help the life expectancy on a nail for your crystals. So I'm just going to cure these once I am happy applying them, and then it's the crystal time. So the crystal itself, easy, nothing too much going on. I decided to venture out into my colourful crystals today, which I feel like I don't very often do, and I picked up some reds. So here is my little red crystal collection, I guess. So we've got some circular ones and we've got some shapes, and I had this little red heart with some gold like detailing around now. So got some gold caviar beads, which I actually had to fish out of those little flowers that you get, you know, the flowers that you get and they come with the caviar beads, and I happen to have one that had gold and silver, so I don't actually, other than that, have any gold caviar beads. So I was so happy to see that. I was kind of fishing them out in between the flowers and trying to get a few of them out into my little pot that we've got in the background there. So here I'm just picking out the crystals. I have this set on the right hand side of me, so I'm here probably just checking which sizes I use just to confirm. So I'm going to place probably the biggest size of the red I've had right at the top. Then after that, one below is going to be a slightly smaller crystal. And we're repeating the exact process on the other nail. And then in between those crystals, we do go ahead and apply some caviar beads. I'm not quite sure if I included that in the video. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I think I did today. I think I did. So especially when doing caviar beads, it will be even better for you to actually apply the crystal placement down first and then top coated, which would also help the caviar beads stay in place. And in case you go overboard with your rhinestone glue gel, then when you top coat, it will kind of cover up and you won't be able to see where you went overboard, especially when you've got a matte top coat and you go overboard with your rhinestone glue gel. It kind of leaves a glossy layer, which of course you don't want because you want it to be matte. Here I completely messed up and I placed the rhinestone glue gel just way too much to the left. So I'll end up having to at some point just wipe it down. So you might end up seeing like a little bit of a cut where I go off camera. So this nail is very self-explanatory. So I'll probably let you guys chillax, watch this a little bit, and I'll come back to you guys once this nail is all nice and done.